Welcome to this tutorial on Neutrino Design, the world's best human design mobile app. Let's jump right into it. First, we're just going to do a brief overview of this bottom row and the top row because those are pretty present throughout all of the app. And the first thing we have is the library. This is where you're going to find your body graphs. You can add body graphs, add tags to them, and you can have as many as you like. There's a search function up here as well, so you can search for your body graphs. Once you enter your body graph at the very beginning when you download the app, there's a tab where you're going to find your chart. All of the information, everything is clickable and readable and links to each other. So if you want to find out which gate connects to which channel, all of that is in here. It's literally an overwhelming amount of information. There's a handful of different tabs. You've got the basic information, the advanced information, additional information, which are some things that you don't see in other apps, as well as the different cycles, and other, which essentially is your birth date and location, both in local time and in UTC, which is really cool. Go back to the top. We have a couple different tabs. Modes and stats shows you things like your dreams, just your circuits, just your not selves, your composites, the signs that your gates are in. And even though human design isn't really tied too much to astrology, this is still really cool to see the types of circuit groups you have, the gate variables, the yin and yang gates, the types of godheads that you have in your chart, the quarters that those godheads are in, the lines, pentalines, etc. Transit mode is a whole video on its own, so we're going to save that. But this allows you to overlay the transits, which are the current stream of neutrinos, onto your own body graph. And it also lets you do cool things like turning all of them on or off. So if you're like a reflector like me and you just want to see just the moon, you can do that. Anyway, that's a whole video on its own. We have the centers, which again was just different views of the basic information, but this one's focused on your centers, telling you about them. This one's focused on your gates and your channels, but if you're like me, you don't have any. And then this is a notes section, which is where you can generate keynotes for yourself. And this is just a really cool concept. So if you're looking for some insight from your body graph or looking to learn a little bit about it, but you don't want to like click through or you don't know where to start, this is a great place to just generate some keynotes, maybe have a meditation or a journaling session on this. Moving on to other charts. In other charts, you're going to see composites, which are taking two body graphs, putting them together so you can see the dynamics between two people. Pentas, which is going to be groups of 3 to 5. This is great for business analysis or family analysis. Dream, which is about dreaming, sleeping, essentially when you're horizontal. And mammals, which is very similar to dreams, the horizontal beings. Then we have the calendar, which this feature has up-leveled the practicality of human design in the most wild way. And we have timeline, which is just viewing the transits and all of the changes in chronological order. We have the day view, which is looking at the different changes throughout each day. As you can see, certain things like the moon change transits a lot more often than the north nodes. Transit chart, which is going to overlay the transit on top of yours. You can also access this by going to my chart and clicking transit. It's the same thing basically. Planet calendar is going to allow you to pick a certain planet, like let's say the sun, and look at all of the relevant information, as well as the gates that you have and the gates that you don't have, and if there are any activated channels. This is some more advanced stuff, especially when it comes to transit tracking, and it's so cool that it's available all with one subscription. We have the retrograde calendar, which is letting us know when planets are going into retrograde. Then we have the find when calendar, which allows you to choose your body graph or anybody else's. Then you can pick, I want to find when my sacral is activated, apply the filter, and it'll show you the dates and the times that your sacral is going to be active. Super cool feature, especially for someone like me who has no definition. Then we have the baby calendar, which will let you know what days, what types will be born. So if you are expecting, here is what you can expect. On top of that, you can also just click on the day here and it'll show you all of the possibilities as well as the whole body graph itself. And that does it for the calendar feature. Now we'll go on to the community feature, which is another experimental, in my opinion, the seed of revolution when it comes to human design. What this is showing us is a monthly community pulse. The community wants to know, how are you feeling today? How's your energy alignment? Responsive, decision clarity, clear, authentic expression. Let's just say conditioned, submit. Then it'll ask you if you want to write a post, which is a simple way of contributing your experience of the transit of your life added to the whole. Gratefully whelmed. Done. that's going to get added. On top of that, you can see other people and their posts. So if you're curious if other people are feeling similar things to you, you can not only look at what people are feeling, but you can also click on them and look at their body graph. Pretty cool. That does it for the lower bar. Now let's go ahead to the top bar. So in order to access all of the features on the top bar, we're just going to go to My Chart. That's like your home page. And let's just go from left to right. So we have the question mark, which is where you're going to find all of the information relevant. If you want to join the beta for the web platform, that is where that will take you. We have the FAQs, of course, for anyone with questions or needing extra guidance outside of this tutorial. Contact support, so you can send a message to our developer, Alex, who will handle everything. He is an absolute rock star, and we all love him so much for making this app. We've got some communities and social elements here, as well as personalized chart analysis. There's your boy, Marco, and a handful of other wonderful analysts. Next, we're going to go to this little icon right here, which is called Weekly Match. Now, this allows you to pick what do you want to find? Friendship, business, romantic, what genders are you interested in? What's the age range? What types are you interested in? And then it will match you with somebody. You come back and you get put into a temporary chat where you guys can see each other's body graphs and connect. And we have our preferences for our individual chart, which allows us to edit the chart, share it, either print it out or email it to somebody. Share is import code, which allows you to just literally share one code. That way you don't have to manually enter everybody's information. There's also a way to batch out body graphs based on tags. So you can have like 20 people in a business or a friend group share one code and you get all 20 body graphs. We have the full screen mode if you want to take a screenshot. We have birth time rectification, which will ask you a few questions. And if you don't know your birth time, this is one way that you can get a pulse on what your birth time might actually be based off of your body graph. Then, of course, we have print, chart, and details, which will just print the chart and details. Then all the way on the right, we have the gear, which these are going to be different settings like notifications, language, and knowledge base. This is a really in-depth system. You can literally, like for instance, if you wanted to change the name of self-expression to something else like creativity, you wanted to change the lines, this is how you can actually change the information in your app to make it unique to you. You can also import and export custom I Ching, meaning if you make set here that you really like that other people want to use, they can import it. And also there are a handful of others that you can import. You can also change information about the centers themselves, literally like the wording and everything you can change. This makes Neutrino Design phenomenal for customization. Social matching, which is the same as the weekly match from earlier. And then the iOS widget, which is really freaking cool. You can just have a widget on your home screen, and I can show you mine right here on my phone where I have it. It's boom right there, showing me the transits. Bingo. All right, let's go back to the app. Of course, we can't forget about appearance, whether you like it light, dark, or the automatic shift between the two. And there are some chart settings that we can apply, and I'll show you exactly what they mean. We're going to start to get into some more in-depth stuff here. Birth Time Explorer creates this down here for you. You can see the different body graphs based off of the time. So we can go forward in time, backward in time, and see how the different transits are going to affect birth time. We can also like change the month if you got your month wrong. Anyway, great way to explore your birth time. This is especially helpful for people that don't know what their birth time is. Again, you can use that birth time rectification feature, which is right here, or you can explore it on your own using the Birth Time Explorer and again, experiment with or living like a projector based off of the variations on your birthday. The advanced view, also known as the magic square, you can see there's more than just the lines. You're also going to see some of the colors and tones, which you will see in the pull-up menu when you do this, but it's really cool to be able to visualize it like this. We have mandala view, which is one of my favorite views, automatically puts you into advanced mode, but it allows you to see the body graph with this sort of radial definition, which is really, really helpful for me personally, just because it feels like I'm getting a more zoomed out picture, which is what I love. Next, we're going to look at the full substructure view, which is just going to show us the colors and tones and bases beneath each of the lines and gates, which is a very advanced. We have personality view, which is just showing you your personality. We have design view, which is just going to show you your design. And although these both are meant to be viewed together, there's some instances that it can be helpful to view just the personality or just the design. We have colored line views, which is beautiful. It's like a Christmas tree over here. This is, again, some part of the more of the substructure of human design that if you're not comfortable with human design, substructure and colors and tones are going to mess you up. We have active versus dominant views. Active gates would be gates that are in defined centers, because all of my centers are undefined. All of them are going to be dormant. And then we have hexagram view, which this is just some madness at my request. I love the hexagrams in the I Ching. And so I wanted to be able to visualize the hexagrams on the body graph, because I know where all the numbers are. 26 is here, 51 is here, 21 is there. So this actually helps me to learn the hexagrams and the shape of it rather than just relying on the numbers. And that is the bird's eye overview of Neutrino Design. As you can see, there's a lot of information in here. So if you're getting in there and you're feeling overwhelmed, feel free to come check out some more of these videos. However, one thing that I do want to encourage you is to not get too caught up in learning about human design as a way of bypassing living your life or addressing the issues with your inner authority and strategy that are begging to be addressed. Human design is a mental framework to help you conceptualize your energy and the energy of other people and the overall energy of the world and transit, etc. However, it is not a replacement for actually living your life and experimenting. In human design, they say over and over again, strategy, inner authority, strategy and inner authority, because that's the best thing for you to focus on. It's how do I make decisions and how do I feel about the decisions that I make? How do I differentiate between myself and others, my own authority and the authority of others? And that's really where the magic comes into play. So if you want to get really deep into human design, one of the things that I recommend you parallel it with is sensory design, which is a unique approach to the deconditioning process where we strengthen your senses, we improve your ability to process information, and then we refine the patterns that allow us to function as human beings. Essentially, we are making human design more human rather than focusing on the body graph, using the body graph as a map and the body itself as the experiment. And a big warm invitation for anybody that wants to join. It's not only a classroom, but also an online community. And so the link for that is going to be in the description. Thank you for tuning into this, and there are more videos to come, so stay tuned.